So I had surgery 2 months ago. And the surgery itself was a success, but the aftercare has gone wrong twice. So I thought I would issue an update because people have just found this interesting. A lot of the comments of people being like, yeah, give us more updates. I guess it's kind of fun in a weird way to watch people talk about something that a lot of people go through. Surgeries get messed up all the time. I don't feel like this is special circumstances. I feel like it's kind of a risk that you take. It's part of life. So I'm just candidly speaking about it. So I had surgery 2 months ago, and the great news is that my migraines are completely gone, which was the ideal outcome of the surgery. I won't actually know for another 9 months when my nerves are fully healed if I will ever get them back again, but right now, it's amazing. For anyone who doesn't want to watch the first video where I talk about how bad my migraines were, basically I get them every 2-3 weeks, and the longest one I had was 18 hours, and the problem for me was that I couldn't eat, drink, or take any pills, so I couldn't use any painkillers. I would have to lie on the floor vomiting for 18 hours straight, usually in a bathroom, all the lights off, where it's cold. I'd be hitting myself. They were excruciating and very life interrupting. And the best part of not having them is I realized this week that I'm doing things differently. There are things that I was always that might cause a migraine. I don't know. I'm gonna have to restrict my own freedom on a bunch of stuff. And this week I just dipped my toe into doing stuff that I previously would have thought would give me a migraine. And when none of it did, it's so nice. So I got my stitches out after surgery about 3 weeks ago, and when that happened, a wound opened up, and it was big and it was gross and it was open for 8 days and I was in a lot of pain. So I had to be debrided, which basically means they cut the wound out and re-stitch you up. I was awake that whole time. It was a relatively traumatic experience. I kept saying to the doctor that I could feel it, but I realized afterwards, he was clearly very confused. He was like, you can feel this? And I kept being yeah, just there. And he'd be like, that? And I'd be like, yeah, just there. Which wouldn't have made any sense to him because what was happening was that something was triggering nerves here. So I was in pain here, but the surgery was about here. And I kept getting this nerve twinge that I was just all the time. It really hurt. But it wouldn't have made sense to him because I was flinching in several locations. But we dealt with that, stitched it back up and put glue over the top of it. Everything was fine. Until Tuesday. The wound I have right now is very weird looking because I accidentally got sunscreen on the glue, which means that you can't really see through it, which is unfortunate. I don't know what it looks like underneath, and the glue's been there for 2-3 weeks at this point. It's slowly starting to come off, but you're not allowed to pull it off because that would irritate the skin underneath. The problem is something has happened underneath, and this is gonna get gross. I'm fine with this, I'm fine talking about it. I think I'd be fine with hearing it, but I still want to issue the warning. If you're a little bit squeamish, you may not like hearing this. It's probably not as bad as me showing you my bloodied up open wound and whatever in the last video update about this, but it's still pretty gross. So on Tuesday, I was just sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing interesting, and this wound I have, which again is now just basically a big patch of glue. It almost looks like a large scab, but it is glue. It just started seeping. I was in absolutely no pain. All of that was gone the day after I had the surgery to stitch it back up. The pain was just completely gone from having that open wound. Everything was feeling good. I started to go back to the gym. I was doing very light exercises, basically all I'm permitted to do right now. And then it starts weeping. My head felt wet. And I was like, okay, that's strange. And I touch it, and there's blood and pus. So then I went and I got my alcohol pads, and I sort of pressed it lightly, and so much pus came out of this little corner on the top of where the glue is. It was the section of glue had been filling with pus for days and was acting as its own sort of blister. So then when I pushed on it, tons of fucking pus came out. This has only gotten worse since Tuesday. Yesterday I just had pus drip down the side of my face before I could get to cleaning it. So it's just more and more and more, to the extent that I just have this little pocket of pus that I have to empty so that it doesn't spill all over my face all the time. Still not allowed to take the glue off. I am seeing a doctor tomorrow. So I did have a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and I told them what happened with the surgeon. And they diagnosed me with what they think is folliculitis, which is basically a dramatic ingrown hair follicle that has gotten very pussy. It would effectively turn into acne, or a cystic kind of acne. But obviously they haven't seen it because they didn't want to take the glue off because they didn't want to agitate anything too much just yet. You're not supposed to force this kind of medical glue to come off, you're supposed to let it come off. And it's certainly coming off faster now that it's repeatedly filling with pus and I'm having to clean it. So they put me on antibiotics and otherwise just told me to just not do anything. I've been on antibiotics and it has not gotten any better. And what I'm actually concerned about, and I think this has been the most concerning thing to me this whole time because I'm very paranoid about a certain facet of this because I've been through it before and it was just awful. It's not gotten any better and I'm sick. Could be completely unrelated, complete coincidence. It's not COVID, I know that much. I've had so many tests. I have a scratchy throat. My temperature's a little bit high. It's not like a concerning amount of a fever. Just a tiny bit high. I'm not at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is where it's like a concern. Scratchy throat, I have a cough. I'm a little bit drowsy. So while the assumption is that I have folliculitis, again, just like a dramatic ingrown hair effectively, I think that usually that diagnosis is for people who get it recurringly, but after a surgery it would be different. What I'm worried about is MRSA, which is staph infection you've probably heard of. MRSA is something that appears on people as a pimple. People often think that they have a spider bite, and it is most commonly shared around in surgeries or hospitals or medical care because it is extremely contagious. It would show up as like a little wound and will be pussy and gross, and antibiotics don't really work on it. I think there are certain kinds of antibiotics you can find that will work, but for the most part, the generic ones don't work. And if it gets into your bloodstream, it will make you sick. So if I've had a staph infection since Tuesday, and it is now Sunday, again, I'm going back to the doctor again tomorrow so we can actually like uncover some more about this. And I started feeling sick probably on Thursday. I guess in theory, whatever's happened up here would happen before Tuesday. The pus just came out on Tuesday. It probably was like Sunday or something. But I'm now like very short of breath. Yeah, coughing. Could be completely unrelated, but I'm very scared of staph infection because I've had pneumonia before and it's very common that they cause pneumonia. Or maybe not very common, but there's a strong correlation. I've had pneumonia before and it's the sickest I've ever been in my life and I would hate to go through that again. Like, just one of the worst 2-week periods, probably the worst. If I were ever to call anything out, it would be the time that I had pneumonia. I feel like you're drowning in your own lungs and it's extremely depressing. Like, just mentally very hard to get through pneumonia because yeah, it feels like you're coughing up water. You can feel liquid in your chest every time that you breathe. It's really stressful, especially for an asthmatic. I do have asthma. It's just not a good time. So I recognize that I should trust the doctor and that if they say it's folliculitis, hopefully that's all it is. But they didn't see it and the antibiotics have not changed it. If anything, it's gotten worse. So I'm worried that I have staph infection. Hopefully not though, we don't know, but I'm just concerned because I'm, definitely very paranoid about pneumonia. That's the thing that always concerned me about COVID. I was so strict pre-vaccines about making sure I didn't go anywhere or socialize at all because not only can pneumonia kill you, it's just fucking awful. But hopefully we'll find out more tomorrow. Clearly the glue's coming off. I'd be surprised if the doctor leaves it on and we can see what it looks like underneath and maybe they'll do a test for staph infection. Or for MRSA, which is just like a swab. I hope I'm saying MRSA right. If I'm not, I'll leave a pinned comment to like correct my unintentionally wrong phrasing. But yeah, basically what this is right now is like this giant pocket of glue that is filling with pus several times a day that I have to squeeze out. And it's an interesting experience. It's nowhere near as painful as when I had the open wound. The pain is like there, but manageable. It's nowhere near as bad. I was so irate when that happened. Comparatively, this is just fine. There's a part of it that feels nice. So we're gonna get gross here. This is the part that's gonna get extra gross because I'm gonna detail what this is like. So in the morning, I squeeze it out, clean it. So I can feel it. I'm aware of like how much liquid is inside of the little glue sack at any given time. There's a period where it feels really nice. After I've just cleaned it out and gotten the pus off my face, when it slowly starts to fill back up again, the first part of it filling back up again, I can't even tell you why, but it feels like this nice little tickle, like something about it is very pleasant. And then when it's like too full, it just feels like I have a wet patch on my face. Like I can feel it, even if it's just stuck in the glue. I'm very well aware of how much liquid is inside of this little bag of glue at any given time. It's definitely wet right now, even if it's not actually coming out. I clean it enough that, yeah, it's only dripped down my face one time, which was very beautiful. But yeah, it just like slowly fills throughout the day. And now I'm at a point where I have to clean it like 5 times a day. So it's happening a lot. This is a lot of fucking pus, ladies and gentlemen, to be coming out of one little glue sack. It's not very big. And there is a little bit of pain, and I try to be very, very gentle and careful when I clean it. I'm cleaning it with an alcohol pad too, which is obviously not great for keeping the glue intact, but it's making sure that I'm not, if I do have something contagious like a staph infection, I'm just spreading it around. And it definitely, like, it hurts when I press on it. As careful as I can be, it hurts when I press on it. That's kind of unavoidable. It's tender, it's sore, but it's not too bad. And that's like really it for now. I do have some stitches sticking out as well, so like part of that cleaning process is a little bit annoying because I'm accidentally pulling on stitches that I think are my internal stitches that are growing out. They did tell me that would happen, so I didn't know that that would happen. There was certainly no warning of me having a weird fucking glue pus bag though. That again, hopefully, just folliculitis. That's an infection, back on antibiotics. Hopefully it's just that, hopefully they're right. I'm gonna show it to you now, so warning if you don't wanna see it. It's probably not gonna look like anything though. Right now it's just gonna look like, or again, a reminder, this isn't a wound that you're looking at, this is glue with stuff underneath it. So even if part of it looks like a scab, it's not. It's just that there was blood there from when it first opened. So warning, you're going to see it. Look away if you don't wanna see it. Alrighty, there you go. So this whole part at the back, actually just completely glue. That one, not sore at all, nothing is going on there. That little pink bit right there is a scar because the glue came off in that spot. So again, it's all just glue. There's a stitch right there. The white and the brown are just like things deteriorating. The white is the sunscreen. This up here is where it hurts. If I press on this right now, it's a little bit squishy, but not too bad. And the pus comes out right at the top up here. But it like fills all the way down to here where there's a separation. So it fills this whole thing, it fills this whole thing, and then I just like, whoop, squeeze it all out. That is what it looks like. Again, this hair really putting in work. I'm not like too horrified about the way that it looks. I'm also not too horrified about squeezing pus out of my face regularly. It is what it is, it happens. Human bodies are weird and gross and complicated. I'm all right with it. If it is just folliculitis, and it's just a little ingrown hair underneath the glue and it's dealt with all these fucking surgeries, then it is what it is. But hopefully they take this glue off me and I can figure it out, because yeah, I'm definitely just paranoid about getting pneumonia again. The sickness could be completely unrelated, or the sickness could be completely related and the antibiotics would be doing nothing. So hopefully it's not that and I'm just being dramatic, but I'm also definitely at a point where I just want to be okay. Like, this is not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I've had worse health problems. Other people have much worse health problems. People I'm very close to have much worse health problems. But you sure do get sick of it. Like, especially for something where I kept being told recovery would be really short. And so thus I told everyone else, like my managers and like the people I work with, my team at work. I was like, it's gonna be really quick. They genuinely think I'll be fine in like a few days. And then for this to keep happening and I have to keep taking doctor's appointments. But that's the update. I hope you enjoyed more of these weird little surgery update videos. I will let you all know how it goes. We'll see you next time.